Hello! So we've talked about the first 6 speeches of the Asian parliamentary format, the 3 speeches on the government team, and the 3 speeches on the opposition team. So now we've come to almost the end of the debates. The opposition whip speaker has sat down. It's time for the reply speeches. Okay? So the reply speeches, as I've told you before, is 4 minutes in length, and there will be no points of information. So during the previous 6 speeches, while speakers are presenting the definition or making arguments or rebuttals, other speakers can stand up and offer a point. Can I ask a question on that point? They may say those things or make those funny gestures to get attention, and speakers can choose to take or to accept them. In the reply speech, there is none of this. You get absolute peace and control over your speech. All right? So what should you do in the 4 minutes which you have to make a reply speech? You should do essentially 3 things. 1, you need to summarize the debate. 2, you need to show your team's position and your case. And thirdly, you need to compare why your position is better than the other team, why your case is better than the other team, why you should win this debate. Right? Before I talk about those things, it's helpful to think of the reply speech as a form of biased adjudication. Okay? So the debate has ended, and you are here giving a kind of review over the debate. This has happened, we did this and they did this. Now, why did we win? Why were we the better team in this game? And how did we play this game better, or how they didn't play this game better? What they have not done or still have not done, and why what we have done and why we are better, right? So it's kind of like a review. So after a game or a performance, the commentators would get up and give a review. Oh, I think this team did really well, and they should win, or she should be the best idol because of this and because of that. So that's what you are doing. Now, obviously, you're a member of your team, so you're going to be a little bit biased. If you are the opposition whip speaker, you're not going to say, I think the government team should win this debate, right? Don't do that, okay? You're going to say, I think our team win this debate, but you're going to try to present that in an objective way, because that is persuasive, right? So let's look at the 3 things that you should do in your speech in order to best present this biased adjudication. Firstly, briefly summarize the debate, right? Not your team, but the debate as a whole. So, what was this debate about? What are some of the important issues in this debate? What happened in this debate? It's important here to be as objective as possible, right? So you should try to cover things which maybe even your team wasn't doing so well at, because if your summary is too biased, then the judges won't buy the rest of your analysis. They won't believe the rest of your analysis. Right? So what was this debate about? This debate was about the balance between the rights of smokers and the rights of non-smokers. Right? This debate was about what is the role of the university? Is the university a place for education only, or is it also a place for transition, for change into society? Right? So those are the 2 most important issues in this debate. Perhaps. Okay? Now, after you've done that, present your team's position and your case. So these are the issues of the debate. Now, what did we do? What did we present? What were our arguments, and how did we argue them? Try to be brief, because what you're showing here is you're trying to show why your arguments or your case is relevant, is good, is strong. All right? So this is what the debate's about. These are our arguments. Our arguments are relevant to what this debate is about. The third thing you should do is compare your position and their position, right? So this means you may have to briefly summarize the other team's position, but then compare them. That's the most important part. Saying what you've done and saying what they've done doesn't really win you a debate, and that isn't really debating. What debating is about is comparing, not just stating things. So we made these arguments and they made those arguments. Why are our arguments better than their arguments? Why are our examples better? Why is our position better? Why are our approaches or analysis better? Which ones do we win? Now, you don't have to show that you win all the arguments in every position, and this is a 100% destruction of the other team. No, no, no. That's not what debating is about. It's about objective comparison. So you can say, look, I think we did really well here. The other team did really well here. We'll give them credit. We think that was a good point and that was made well. And we really don't have the answer to that for this part. But we think we still did better because that one which they did well at, that point, isn't the most important point of this debate, unfortunately. This point is more important than that point in the debate, right? Furthermore, we did this thing and that thing and this thing and this other thing much, much better than them, okay? So it's really important at this point to be comparative. Compare your team against their team. You want to give the judge a standard by which to decide which team should win this debate. Okay? So to recap, tell the judges, the audience, what this debate is about. This debate is about this issue, it's about that issue. Present or summarize your case and your position. Show how you were relevant to the debate. Thirdly, compare the teams. Tell the judges why you did better to solve the problems of the issue or to respond better to the issue. Give them a standard to decide which team should win a debate. In debates that are very, very close, reply speeches can make a huge difference. You have to think tactically, but believe that your team has won that debate. Good luck.